hello, and welcome everyone to the Slam Jam Wrestling Show here on the Extreme Improv Xstreamed YouTube channel, as well as the Slam Jam YouTube channel, and so many other places. I'm not even sure. Let's get started, as is the tradition, with the opening credits. Boom. Yes, hello and welcome to the Slam Jam Championship Wrestling Show here on Extreme Improv, Slam Jam, and probably some other places. Smash the subscribe, hit that follow, click the thumbs up wherever you are. We're going to be discussing all kinds of stuff on today's shows. Now, almost breaking news, apparently Hulk Hogan is alive and well, but an hour ago there were rumours that he was on his deathbed. So that was almost going to be probably a leading story, but it may turn out that is absolutely nothing. Other things... Sorry, what's that?
Doesn't work for me, brother.
Does it? Yeah. Imagine death comes... Please, I don't want to say anything and then something bad happens. But death comes in the room. That doesn't work for me, brother. It's like literally the way of it. Yeah, he kicks out on one. Yeah, absolutely. Right, okay, but we're going to be discussing other stuff. Last week we discussed the rumours of Goldberg's return. Goldberg has now returned. Will face Gunther. Gunther says that he has 3 minutes for him. And there's a ton of other stuff going on. We're literally days away. I believe next Sunday is AEW's All In. And also, like WWE's going head to head with it. Is it next week or is it the week after? I can't remember.
That's next month, isn't it?
Next month. Is it next month? What's coming up like in a week's time?
Saudi, isn't it?
It's Saudi. Yeah, okay. There's stuff going on. I've just come off another show. I wasn't really paying attention. Right, so let's meet tonight's lineup, starting with Dave. Say hello to the people.
Hello, people. Been a little while. Just address the elephant in the room. How on one end of the theme to the other end, Dave has changed from a scarf and a ski mask to a cap and shades.
Yeah, the scarf is hanging on. It's hanging on. It's hanging on. Right. Say hello to the people, Gav.
Hello, people. I was gonna say you got a little madness in there.
I have lots of madness tonight, guys. It's hyperactivity. It is like heat stroke, I think. Right, Ian, say hello to the people.
Hello to the people, and hope you're staying cool wherever you are.
Yeah, okay.
We're not.
We're definitely not. It's insanely warm. This is it's weird that we have everyone's in the UK, I trust, at the moment, right? We're from the UK, which is unusual on this show, but... the crazy thing is, when we get hot weather, because we get it for 2 days and then it disappears, we can never adjust to it. So it's from one extreme to the next. So let's discuss what's been happening in the world of professional wrestling. What's any hot takes or what is on anyone's mind that has caught your attention this week, guys?
I think the big one is Liv Morgan.
Liv's injury, yeah. Oh, have you seen? I don't want to get unpleasant photos, but have you seen the like the shoulder as it pops. I'll have a quick look, but I don't really want to bring it up. It's not the worst injury I've seen, but obviously it's pretty bad for her.
I think it actually happened, but like, was there other pictures, photos of it?
So there is like someone has got like the freeze frame of where you can see like the big crease, Liv Morgan. But we'll see. If I think it's too rough, I won't bring it up. I can't see goddamn anything in these sunglasses. What am I doing? Right. Okay. So
I
yes.
think the difficult thing with it is that it was such an innocuous bump. Like, and it's those innocuous ones that can be where the real damage happens, you know. And
yeah,
I
absolutely.
dislocated my knee last year, so I was just like, no, can't even cope with the word dislocated. Oh.
Yeah, you dislocated your knee, did you say?
My kneecap was out of place for.
You don't have to go into the story, but how did that come about?
Well, it's similar, not similar in that I was in the ring, but in that it was a nothing thing. I was playing football, facing one direction, turned to chase the ball, and my knee just went, see ya. And yeah, that was.
You're facing one direction, your kneecap was facing the other.
Literally, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. I was going to say, did it not shoot up your leg? No?
The kneecap?
Yeah.
It shot round my knee.
Okay, yeah. Amazing stuff.
I've got more.
Oh no, because I used to wrestle and I saw one guy jump from the second rope and his kneecap actually slid up his thigh.
Oh my god. That is...
yeah.
Jesus. Right. Okay. Well, yeah. So
best wishes to Liv Morgan anyway. Whatever the diagnosis is.
Do we have? Is there word on how long she'll be out? I know they're saying that it's going to mess up plans for Evolution 2.
It's usually around about 16 weeks, isn't it?
Up to 16 weeks, depending on. Yeah. I know when I did mine, it was all about whether or not it was just a bone that was messed up. Which in my case, I was very lucky. It sounds funny to say, but it was only the bone going out and back in. So I rehabbed that. But when you dislocate, you can tear ligaments, you can tear tendons. There's all sorts of other damage, like with Zoe Stark, who's sort of ripped everything in her leg by the sounds of it. Bless her.
Yeah, no, there's been some rough injuries in that regard recently.
I was going to say, I can feel your pain because I snapped my leg in three a few years ago now.
Wow.
It was the worst pain ever.
Yeah.
Dave, what's the worst injury you've had?
I once stubbed my toe on a bed.
We have a winner.
Well, no. I've never done like what Gav's done and actually been in a wrestling ring, but I've told the story to Dave before, and he knows what I'm going to say. I had taken an accidental bump, flat back bump, but it wasn't on a wrestling ring.
On stage?
It wasn't on a thing. It was on a stage, and I say on a stage. So I used to. My very first professional acting job was a job in during a tour for a company called White Horse Theatre in Germany. Tour of Germany in schools. And the first day we're doing 3 different shows, and the second of which was this sort of like the middle sort of range, like age range sort of thing. And I won't go into the full details of the play, but the first part of it, my character had to we reenacted my birth. But the stage we were on was solid concrete. Luckily, they had, and I say luckily because of what I'm about to tell you, they had another sort of extension on the stage, which was just wooden sort of boards and things like that. And we did most of the actual action on there. So I had a thing where I was being pulled by two of the other actors, pulled me by one foot each through the legs of the other person. We're all on this box. The 2 of us are on this box. So one of the girls standing there, I'm going through the leg, pretending to be a baby, going through. And it's the first time we've done it on the stage in front of an audience. I think nerves must have got the better of the other 2 because they pulled me all the way off the box completely. I was supposed to sort of sit on the edge of the box. They pulled me all the way off, and I just went, tuck your head, and landed flat back on the pallets. And thankfully, I managed to sort of sit up, Undertaker-like, and just went, Stage 2, my childhood, and we carried on. And I was like, somehow I managed to absorb all the impact.
So not only did you take a flat back,
you
got double teamed.
Yeah, so we got pulled. Yeah, I think if you think about, I think it's like the Spirit Squad's finish. You know, they pull them up and bring it back down again. It's something like that.
Excellent.
A true pro carried on as well.
Yeah.
Carried on. It didn't hurt. It was really weird. I just managed to absorb all the impact in me. And once I got off stage for the first little bit, I was like, oh. But Yeah, somehow I didn't hurt myself.
Yeah, so I'm just looking up here, coming back to Liv Morgan. It's believed that she could be out of action for months. So when is Evolution 2?
It's
like a week after Saudi, is it? Or, no, it's near something near AEW.
Now,
probably.
Is it not All In Weekend? Is it not that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
That weekend?
she's the current tag team champion. Unless she's literally going to have like emergency surgery on this tomorrow, have her on the apron. Find some way to work her into something.
You could freebird it.
I was just about to say.
Roxanne.
Well, yes, yeah. Like, well, you've got options, or you could kind of do this. Well, yeah, you could start it off where it's like she's going to wrestle, and then what you do is you do like the free. So you have her on the apron. But then she never tags in until the last minute, where it's like, oh, Freebird rule. And then imagine if she rolled in and just got like the pin at the end. Something. You could do something to still keep her in this. That's...
Wasn't the Freebird rule that the A2 of them could wrestle the match? I don't think they could switch in and out of the match.
No, of course not. Yeah. But you just find some way. You find, you know, a heel tag team
I think
can do this.
There's never a good time to have an injury, especially when as serious as that. But they're not out of options story-wise with it because
there's a whole contention.
Punk during his comeback was able to stay as an on-screen character.
Yeah,
Liv is so popular and so much on a roll at the moment that I think there's if she's able to safely like keep her on screen. You've even been teasing stuff with Liv and Raquel, like even on the Raw before she injured herself was a bit of dissension between Liv and Raquel, with Raquel being like, I can't come. So do you have Roxanne step in and be like the best partner ever? So when Liv does come back, Rodriguez has got a bit of split loyalties, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I'd say on that is if you have someone step in as the women's tag team champion, doesn't this sound a little bit familiar with the whole Naomi situation? Yeah. Which you know, they could do that, and they could if they say like history is repeating and look how it turned out, they could lean into that. Then all they need to have is just like Jade meet someone backstage and be like, I've been down this route before, I know how this goes. And maybe it isn't that way, or maybe it is. Dev, say hello to the people.
Hello to the people.
Good. Right. So, go on, Dev.
I was giggling there. I was just suddenly seeing the image of Joe Hendry being slided next to Mr. Iguana.
I was waiting for R-Truth.
No, because during the latest Triple H show, they did a segment backstage together.
Oh, right, okay.
They did. Well, have you seen where they do Joe Hendry's turn?
Yeah, just watch it.
Yeah.
It's so weird how he's got turning around over as a recognisable thing.
And his Spanish entrance music as well.
That was cool.
He's got game.
Now, did he sing it, or did he just get someone else to sing it?
That band who sang it became really famous a few years ago when he first did it. For covering it in Spanish.
Ah, okay.
It was Joe Hendry doing it, yeah.
But he sang it in Spanish.
They recorded a Spanish version.
No. It was a Instagrammer called The Easy Band.
No, dude, I'm talking about his entrance at AAA. It was him.
Yeah. No, it was a band called Easy Band.
It was him.
Okay, well, let's okay. Let's find out. Let's get to the bottom of this. Who sung Joe? Okay, God.
It was Joe Hendry.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're saying that Joe Hendry's theme in Spanish. Right. Boom. And
Triple Mania.
Well, I'm not going to ask this question again. Like, okay, Spanish.
Let's just find out after the show. Don't worry, we'll just find a clip of.
Okay, fine. Right. Okay, good. So yeah. So where we Dev, just to catch you up, we were discussing about Liv Morgan's injury, how that's going to affect Evolution 2. We briefly touched on, I'm sure you saw the rumours like an hour ago that Hulk Hogan was seriously ill. It turns out it isn't true. And the funny thing about that story, just coming back to that, is the rumours that he was on his deathbed was apparently being reported by Bubba the Love Sponge, which is like his arch nemesis in life. Yeah, so of course he'd say something like that. But, yeah.
If it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be Jonathan Coachman reporting lies as usual.
He's reporting a lot at the moment, isn't he, old coach?
So what are some of it? Because the only thing I saw from him was him saying about Vince wanting to buy back WWE. What else?
Roman Reigns taking a pay cut.
Why would Jonathan Coachman know this?
There is the question, Dave.
Yeah.
The most recent one I read today was he's the one who's been. I think I read this right anyway, but I'll just say I think this is the case in case it's allegedly an allegedly situation. He was also feeding the rumours that Britt Baker was being signed by WWE and leaving AEW, which apparently is not the case.
I mean, is that a safe bet though that it will eventually happen, or has she missed the boat there? Go on, Dev.
Honestly, I would like to see Adam Cole back in WWE because he was treated much better in WWE than he is in AEW.
Adam Cole is really interesting. He's had some injuries which have stopped his momentum in AEW, and he's the unfortunate thing with him is after his debut. When you look at Adam Cole in AEW, he debuted. Was immediately overshadowed by the debut of Daniel Bryan. And instantly after Cole debuted, he turned heel immediately. And then he was just in the mix with the Elite. Eventually, they split the Elite into the Undisputed Elite. And then he got injured. Then he had the feud, which was his high point with MJF and the tag team with MJF. And since he then got injured again, he's just been floating. So who knows? I don't know if he's still likely to ever win a world title there. But if he does come back to WWE, I think Keith Lee is probably going to leave AEW as well. So I think Adam Cole could be Keith Lee's manager. Bring back Bearcat Keith Lee.
I'm having flashbacks.
Because apparently that was their plan. That was Vince's plan for Adam Cole, which is just extraordinary to think of that. But then when you hear like, oh, Adam Cole and Keith Lee got like they majorly dodged a bullet, then they went to AEW where Adam Cole had exactly the journey I just said, and then the high point of Keith Lee was his tag team with Swerve, and I don't even remember the last time Keith Lee was regularly in AEW at all.
Well, he has been like very badly unwell and unhealthy in the last year and a half. So it's
But even before that, when was the last when he was in a tag team with Swerve? That was 2022.
They're building up to him and Swerve, but one of the year-end pay-per-views. I can't remember which one it was now, but that's when his health issues stopped him from being on that show. Yeah, so good. I think he said on someone on Twitter recently he's feeling okay now and all that sort of stuff, but there's no news on his comeback if any.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Well, okay, good. So let's get into a couple of the other quick stories, and then we can talk about Raw and where things are looking like they're going for pay-per-views and that. One of the ones that caught my attention today is The Undertaker interested in joining WWE Creative. What's anyone's takes on this? Would this be good? Would this be bad? Go on, Gav.
I'm not feeling it. But, I don't know. The Undertaker character was brilliant.
Yeah.
And that was brilliant. Obviously, Hall of Fame. Could his booking be a bit, pardon pun, dead? I don't know, I listen, again, I might be wrong here. Yeah. I listened to him on some podcasts before, and his podcast is pretty good. But when he's being interviewed, I don't get the same energy. I don't know. And does that then transmit onto his booking?
I mean, maybe. The one thing I think probably with him is... Okay, so I'll give my very quick thought, and then I'll come over to you, Dev. I see... What the potential of this to me screams of Triple H runs the main roster, Shawn Michaels runs NXT, Triple H is getting another of his guys and just basically building out his guys as a protection bubble around him. Because
do you think Taker's a Triple H guy?
Yeah, 100%. Like Taker and Michaels came along to announce that Triple H was being inducted. Look at the whole saga of Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, Triple H versus, like, it was just like their annual get together in the end.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're from the same era. And the way I see it is, as soon as Vince was gone, they were like, oh, it's the Paul Levesque era. It's the Paul Levesque era. The next year, which was this year, they're inducting Triple H into the Hall of Fame. Oh, I didn't know. I'd have never inducted myself. And what they're
half speech.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes, right. I didn't even watch the whole thing in the end. But what I see is there's even, again, this might be a Jonathan Coachman one actually. Recently saying about Triple H not at a certain point being ousted. And so if you're gonna take out Triple H, he's one person. But if it's the whole package, well, if we lose Triple H, then we'll lose Shawn Michaels and we'll lose The Undertaker. And suddenly, if you lose all of this knowledge and expertise, you get your guys around you. If you run it like a mafia, basically. But go on, Dev.
So I think that he wants to get Taker to run SmackDown, him to run Raw, and Shawn to run NXT. But the danger is, Taker seems kind of weird, where he's not an old head as in bad booking, but he doesn't like most of the young guys backstage because of how they conduct themselves and stuff. So I'm worried that his booking is going to affect the booking by overshadowing new guys with existing people from the Ruthless Aggression era and stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cultural question from what I'm hearing you say, Dev, because, like, by all accounts, he was so old school, and he has a big problem with the way that nowadays most of the superstars, to use their term, are like playing video games backstage, or they're streaming themselves, or living much more healthily, but maybe less like an American badass than he did.
Yeah.
And I personally think that's better because wrestlers are healthier and, touch wood, for the most part, not abusing their bodies quite so much.
Whilst this is true, I'm sure, like, does anyone remember there was a few months ago where there was just like a photo of The Undertaker playing like a PS5? I think he's joined. Yeah, I'm going to find this image. Undertaker game. No, do you know what? It was like the weirdest.
Was it one of those gun controllers?
Okay, hang on, wait, guys. Hang on. I found the image instantly. Get ready for this. Oh, hang on. I need to share my screen to find this. So share screen and window and bosh. There you go. That's one for the ladies.
I'm sorry.
There's man spreading and there's dead man spreading.
That is dead man spreading.
What is he playing though?
I don't know.
Could someone please, out there on the internet, you please take the image of Undertaker there, and can you transpose that and put it onto a like over the top of a picture? You know when you used to do this the big leg drop on the apron?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we get that switch around so it's him doing it there?
Jeez.
That's hilarious.
I bet it's not even switched on.
Oh, this is just one of the images to look like he's down with the youths.
Yeah. Michelle, how do you work the remote?
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
I just wanted to say though, with all the bookings, so at one point I think someone said about Hunter's like booking the main roster and Shawn's on NXT. I thought we were going to suggest that Undertaker takes care of Evolve.
Well, he's already doing LFG, so
he's progressing that. Yeah, I saw how well that worked out. The guy won that and that terrible match he had with Hogan.
That's just is putting all of these things, like the original vision of NXT. Tough Enough, all these things where they get people who aren't ready, and then suddenly the prize is that they win some kind of title match, is setting them up to fail.
The guy who won LFG has been in that system for about 3.5 years.
Wow.
And he's still, yeah. So look, if you think he wasn't ready, and he's winning this thing. Yeah, he proved he was not ready in that match. I'm sitting here being a complete armchair booker and not, as I say, not having been in the ring at all. But it's, you look at some of the guys on there, you think, what? How are you on this show?
Well, I think it's when you get down to a certain level of developmental, and they're televising seemingly all of the developmental at the moment. So, like, you're going to be watching stuff that is sub NXT or sub Evolve, and.
But this one was on NXT. This is what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. I didn't realise that you've got.
I was able to go one just for Troy against Obafemi. It was the title match last week or the week before. Awful.
Yeah. Go on, Dev.
Yeah, because but with there's some people in developmental who are NXT and stuff who had been there for years. Like Angelo Dawkins was there for a decade. Yeah. If we got caught of the main roster.
Yeah, true. Like, okay, the worst. Who was the guy that got destroyed in a Royal Rumble?
Daniel Puder,
yeah, who like put Kurt Angle into a real hold.
Yeah.
And
so now we give you Benoit Guerrero, and then here comes Hardcore Holly.
And they just chopped the shit out of him. Oh my goodness, yeah. I don't understand, because I think that was like, they said like $1 million Tough Enough or something like this.
That one was, yeah.
And it's just like, did he just suck? Did he have a bad attitude? And they were like, well, we've got to use him once. Was it literally just because of that though?
Yeah.
I think he had a bad attitude as well, though. That was what was going around at the time.
Well, yeah, I heard that as well, but yeah.
Yeah, Dev?
Okay, from what I know, he was the only one that was like kind of training combat sports from before. So he came in as an MMA badass saying, "Oh, wrestling's fake. I can beat everyone." And when Kurt challenged him, and he nearly beat him, that made him worse.
See, okay, so let's just call out the slight hypocrisy here, because wasn't it Kurt Angle that like spoke to WWE on the phone and was just like, "Well, I'm an Olympic gold medalist. I don't lose," and then they didn't call him for 2 years. So, you know, if you get the guy that's been in, like, the Octagon, he might have a little bit the same attitude. But, yeah, he showed up Kurt.
But Kurt learned very quickly and, like, adapted really, really quickly to wrestling itself.
Yeah.
And Peter wouldn't be able to.
True. Okay, guys. Go on, Gav.
The other thing is, SmackDown's going back to 2 hours soon.
Is it? I thought I read that it wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought. Again, I'll check this. But I thought I read that the update
came out that it wasn't, because we all thought it was going to be June, right? Originally,
right?
And then the news came out that it was going to stay at 3 hours for the foreseeable future.
Right.
But I think today, Gav, it broke.
Yeah.
There's some new show coming on USA. So that is it August 11th or something? They're going to shorten it to 2 hours, and I can't wait.
Okay, yeah, good. So a new show, The Rainmaker, in the 10 to 11. Is that Rainmaker?
Harder, I don't think.
Okay, yeah, exactly. But yeah, so we go. Well, thank God for that.
It's just a bunch of people turning around going.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. Okay, well, that will be a positive change for SmackDown, because when Raw was 3 hours for years, and people were like, well, SmackDown's now a tighter show, and then they've kind of just flipped it. Except for obviously with the interesting thing is eventually all of the shows will just be Netflix worldwide. In theory, as long as Netflix is still happy with the deal.
They have a get-out clause, I think, that I'm a little worried about.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think there's enough ways to keep monetizing WWE. It just depends if the price is too high.
Isn't it amazing, though? When Raw was a 3 hour show, it sucked. It's only changed by half an hour now.
Yeah.
It's a lot better.
I think what I'm seeing with SmackDown, I don't necessarily think the problem is that there's 3 hours. I think it's that what they haven't done, or what I don't feel like they've done, is create a third hour of content. what they've done is taken their 2-hour format and stretch it so that every match ends up an extra commercial break longer. Like every promo, like, and so it just feels like I can just feel this sagging energy, like with some of those matches, and they're not bad matches, they're just too long. So I think if they were making original, I'm not suggesting Raw Underground for any, like, I don't want to go back there, but for there to be some original content, then 3 hours wouldn't feel so long, because pay-per-views don't.
I liked the idea of Raw Underground, just like this Fight Club style thing.
It's not Shane going,
yeah, it's just trying to do it during the pandemic, as it was a bold idea to try to think, well, what can we do for the fact that there's no one there? Just make it look like Fight Club. But yeah, that didn't work. Go on, Dave.
I was just thinking, this whole thing, you're quite right. It's they're stretching out these formats and doing it, so I don't really watch the programs anymore because they are just too long and things like that. But you would get me watching if, say, you used some of your roster. You know, they've got so many people on the roster that don't get a shoe-in anymore. I mean, it was when I was watching SmackDown like a few months ago, there was like the whole tag title thing. You know, DIY had the belts and the Profits had the belts, and they still had challenges from the Gazas, the Machine Guns, Pretty Deadly. It was that sort of like that 5 teams were all sort of constantly wrestling each other to do it. I found that quite. I don't think the crowds found it very interesting, but I did as a tag team wrestling fan. I quite enjoyed that. You know, you can put other teams in there. Now you've got Fraxium are in there, and sadly the Wire 6 are in there, which, you know, wasn't a great example as of last Friday. But the point is that you know, you've got all these people you can put in there and put into matches. Just have a few. Like you say, you don't have to have a 20-minute spectacular. I mean, the example I can think of was, I was just watching this on the highlights on the YouTube thing, but there was that bit before the last Saturday night's main event where you had Cena and Logan Paul beating down Jay and Cody. Yeah. And there was that whole thing where Cena was doing the, oh, you want the truth sort of speech, that bit. That felt like it was being dragged out as well. They were making that up on the spot. And it's like, how much airtime did they have left when they did this angle bit?
Cena's promo on SmackDown just recently, he opened the show, I think, and it was, 35 minutes before the bell rang on a match?
That's crazy.
Wow.
Dev?
See, for that Cena promo on Friday, I literally blame CM Punk, because he forgot his lines like 5 times during that segment. If you look at the thing, you could literally see him pause, turn back, walk around, trying to remember his lines for the entire promo.
Who, Punk?
Yeah.
Wow.
Got a little lost for a moment.
Yeah.
It seemed.
It did a little bit.
But I don't know, I think this whole thing with Punk, and I don't know if it explains his getting himself lost because it's so unlike him, but they're trying to have their cake and eat it with this whole Saudi thing, because they're trying to be like with Cena saying, I'm going to make you come to Saudi, but nobody's saying why, because WWE can't sit there and say, Saudi's a pretty terrible regime, isn't it, but we're going. So, and Punk can't answer, you're a hypocrite, because based on the tweets that he's made, he has gone back on his word. Like, so they're just tiptoeing around this thing, but also trying to reference it. It's just, I think that's why it's not working.
Well, see, this is the difficult thing. They're trying to make it real by playing out storylines where you have, like, one of the big criticisms that AEW had in the early days was saying that, well, to understand the relationship between these two people, you need to watch Being the Elite, which is the YouTube Young Buck show. And it's like, if you're now getting to the point that where you're expecting the audience to remember tweets from 6 years ago and the significance of them, it's like you're not giving the full background to stuff. And in this case, absolutely, they can't. And it's almost kind of a bit dodgy for them to even be referencing it, because it's like, well, you're putting this on TV, but you're also flying out there with this deal. Go on, Dev.
It's like AEW's booking back then, like all that stuff. It reminded me of like the Marvel the MCU. It's like, to understand what's going on here, you need to watch TV show X from 5 years ago, where we reveal this information.
Yeah.
And like, it's very like homework heavy.
Do you know, this is a really weird thing. I think because of there's so much TV, there's so much internet, there's TikToks and all stuff like this compared to that there didn't used to be. That, you know, and we say about, oh well, like, why aren't they using Adam Cole? Why aren't they using Keith Lee? Like, why are there so many people in WWE that you don't use anymore? One of the things is, people are staying healthier. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it means that careers are longer, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but it means that people stay in the conversation a lot longer. And because they're also on social media, and then because there's such a huge nostalgia factor, and it's definitely true with like Marvel and stuff, where they'll suddenly bring back the old Spider-Man from 20 years ago. Goldberg turns up and says we started something 6 months ago to Gunther, and we're like, oh yeah, I remember that. But what about the people who are sitting there and say, who is Goldberg? You know, I've been watching for like 3 years. Is this the bald guy that wrestled Lashley that one time? Like, no one knows who he is. Do you know what? Okay, I've seen this, Gav. I've got the answer. Earlier this year, John Cena, before he turned heel, was like, I am having a title shot. I am being in the, the Elimination Chamber. And Triple H was, well, he's John Cena. Well, it's like, well, if you're going to play that card, then fine. And it's like, well, Goldberg gets a title shot. Why? Because he's Goldberg and it's his last match. So why not? But all of it is wrong. Like, there is no sense of who should get a title shot based on win and loss records.
And why is Jay in the King of the Ring tournament? Because he should get, and Cody.
Well, yeah, they haven't. Has Roman ever had a return match? He might have done. Yeah, there's so many people. Like, what would be an interesting thing? Maybe AI could do this, or probably butcher it, right? Where all of the people that have lost a world title and never got their contracted rematch. Dev.
What's funny is, at the beginning of the tournament, because he was a title holder, he wasn't eligible for the King of the Ring.
Well, that really annoyed me, because we were talking last time about the mystery opponent, and people were talking online. You talked, I think, Dev, last week about Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah.
Like, if they didn't want this conversation, then what are they doing saying mystery opponent? Because they knew it was Jay. Like, all they needed to do was say, okay, the loser of the Jay Gunther match is going to be placed in that fatal four-way.
Yeah.
And it would have eliminated all of the conversation, because I know we had a bit of a laugh and a joke about Mr. Kennedy last week, but these serious, earnest conversations. I heard people talking about Dragunov coming back. I heard people talking and devoting their energy to trying to invest in this mystery opponent.
Yeah.
But it's just we couldn't put Jay in there because that would spoil the result.
And yet they pre-announced Oscar's return, where she could have been the mystery person returning. Yeah, they just...
She was great, by the way. Like, Oscar was great. And her music is back.
Yeah.
There's no Death Rebel.
Don't wait too long. Did anyone see the story about Jordan Grace having new music? She debuted new music, and apparently I watched her entrance, and the comment I put on where WWE had shared this was, it sounds like generic WCW ham and egger music from the early 90s. And then apparently the audience chanted "Fire Def Rebel."
Excellent.
Good. And I don't understand. I never understood why they got rid of Jim Johnson. All of that era, when you look back, and it was he was what?
Even CFO.
Even them,
They were brilliant.
I'm a Jim Johnson guy, right? Him or Jimmy Hart. Just give me like a distinct tune and some lyrics about the wrestler. That's what I want.
Of the horse, isn't it? That Jim Johnson was the beautiful drawing of the horse, and then CFO was like, okay, it's still a horse.
Yeah.
And now we're in the Death Rebel.
That's a load of horse.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like, literally the evolution of it has been, when you go back and you've got the Honky Tonk Man, or you've got $1 Million Man, stuff like this, and it's literally either Shawn Michaels singing his own theme song with Jimmy Hart going "Sexy Boy" like this, and it's great. And then you have like the era of like Batista or Edge. Their music is cool, but it's just cool music.
it's so crazy because like the thing is Royal Rumble times. Like
I was
that's
just
when
going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
You just need the first chord, and
Yeah.
people usually know who
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at the Tron to see whose name pops up.
Yeah, you just don't know.
And I confess, like, I stopped watching for a while. I couldn't afford to pay for the TV networks that were carrying it.
Yeah.
So Netflix was like a dream for me.
Yeah.
So first Royal Rumble that I watched, since coming back to it, I was like, I don't know who anybody is because of their music. Like, and so I was literally looking at the Tron to see whose name was coming up, and that's lost to me.
The only one, there was thousands of people in the arenas doing the same.
Well, and the other thing, when like if we're talking about not just the music but the whole package of them, someone pointed out, or lots of people pointed out, like 2 or 3 years ago, that when you looked at the NXT roster, it was just a bunch of guys in black trunks with long hair, like with wet long hair, and they all kind of looked the same. And okay, so I don't know. These might have been changed in our group chat. Do you remember when Assad renamed everyone? Just like he's still called Rifer Buzzington. So if you see that name in the chat, Ian, if you've joined recently, and Dev, I don't even know if you were in the chat for that era of it. The joke was that everyone like who was a new wrestler, especially in WWE, would just get like weird names, and they just sound like a name that you might get on some weird school register. Like class list, whereas again in the past you'd have people with like gimmick names or their real name just with like the Hammer or the Dragon or something like this attached to it.
That even translates even over to like the women.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm going to bring up the WWE roster, and look, if some of these people have their own real names, then it's fair enough. If people have got names that don't sound as marketable, then that might just be the case. But
how they dress as well.
Yeah, like, exactly. So
Tiffany, and there's a couple others as well. But they would like you're looking at them and you're thinking, are they a tag team or are they actually fighting each other?
Well, yes, absolutely. You get that all. Like AEW is quite guilty for having people with gimmick infringement, where there'll be people wrestling each other in almost the same, like, color scheme or whatever like this. So
it's happened a couple of times.
When you look at the WWE roster, the thing that you can like see along the way is like AJ Styles. So that's the name he's used on the indies and stuff like that. Aleister Black obviously isn't his name, but you know, Aleister fine. Alex Shelley, that's what he used, TNA and stuff like that. Andrade, so they get rid of people's last names that or part of their name. That was a very Vince thing. But let's see if there are any examples of just where people like Dolph Ziggler was one of them. Like that's not a real name. Why? How did that ever come into existence? Dolph Ziggler, and then you just get Bron Breakker. Like just some terrible names that just come up through the. You'll probably spot someone's like, oh, Carlito's still on the roster page. That's interesting.
Wow. Oh wow.
Okay, like is Chad Gable? That's his real name because he was an Olympian, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fair play then. But who the hell is some of these people? Like, there's some NXT guys in here that I don't watch that often.
Don't watch NXT.
Yeah, there's going to be some. Well, this is where you. Cutler James. What are these names?
So they're part of Dark State, and they've got some of the most random name generator names.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Cutler James and Dion Lennox, and the worst one is like I can't remember his name. It's Shannon Sharif or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's just a really weird name. The thing, I can't remember it. That's how bad it is.
Well, see, like, even when you go back, like something like Eric Rowan, that is just a generator name. I don't think it's his real name because he has to change it elsewhere. Now, if you got someone Elton Prince, that sounds like a wrestler name because Prince, it's got some meaning to it. But Finn Balor, Prince Devitt, how did they get Finn Balor? Because he was Prince Devitt, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he did. To be fair, he actually like put some thought. It was like Balor is like a name of like an Irish like warrior or
demon.
Okay. No, so there can be stuff. Yeah, so there's got to be stuff.
Grayson Waller's a bad one.
Grayson Waller, Hank Walker. I don't know. Right, and we could go through all of these and pick apart some of the names, but yeah.
that was it. The one I was trying to think of was So Dark State are Dion Lennox, Cutler James, Osiris Griffin, and Shaquan Sugars.
Oh wow! There you
I
go.
like Osiris Griffin for a very stupid reason. Because when he got his name, the first thing he did was post Family Game memes for the whole day.
Yeah. Okay, so Killer Cross.
Posted Family Guy memes.
Okay, so where did Carrion come from? Because he was Killer Cross,
Carrion's
right?
a demon.
Came from a bunch of
Carrion
British
is like
comedy.
a carcass, isn't it? Like
I think it came from a bunch of British comedy movies from the 60s and 70s.
The Carry-Ons, I love it. Good, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's just perhaps they're not quite as bad, but perhaps I'm just more used to it because I just don't. Maybe in like the early '80s, but I just don't think in the '90s where everyone had a gimmick, you wouldn't have got like the likes of what the hell is that? Luca Crostifino. Oh my god!
Talking about gimmicks,
Malik Blade.
A mafia stable in NXT, so they are doing like characters and things like that.
Okay, right. Wow. Okay. Anyway, so let's come back to Raw and this week and stuff. Obviously, we've touched on it lightly, saying about Goldberg versus Gunther. Apparently, one of the things I read with it is Goldberg almost missed the show because he forgot what day Raw is on. Did you hear this? Isn't that amazing?
That's crazy.
Monday Night Raw in the Monday Night Wars with Monday Nitro. And apparently Goldberg forgot what day Raw happens.
Did he start the day by hitting his head on a locker room door or something?
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably how he starts every single day, you know.
at least his promo, and we'll ignore the fact that he could barely climb up the ropes afterwards. But
Yeah.
He didn't outstay his welcome. Like he got to the point, and that's the best we can hope for. I think, well, certainly from my point of view, just get in. Don't hurt yourself or anybody else. Have your moment, and thank you very much. Goodbye.
You have to believe that Gunther is good enough to work around Goldberg and pull something. The fact that Gunther put onto social media is like, apparently I'm next. I can spare 3 minutes. Now, if that is planned as a 3-minute match, I think Gunther is going to pull something out of him, and I have a tiny suspicion that it's actually going to be something decent. I think he's gonna what? Right. I think he's gonna pull a 15-minute match out of Goldberg.
Well, even in 15 minutes.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Even in his prime.
Yeah.
Like his thing was 3-minute squash.
How long did Undertaker versus Goldberg last?
8 minutes.
Because look, when that match was happening live, I was actually, until it was so clearly botch after botch.
Yeah.
But at first I was like, they're going for it. You know, I was like, I haven't seen Goldberg have this long a match, and they were doing things, and it's like, oh, he dropped Undertaker on his head. Oh, he's knocked himself out. Oh, Undertaker's dropped him on his head. Yeah. Oh. Super Showdown 2019. Let's see how long it actually went. Lashley pulled a match out of him. A reasonable match. Yeah. Undertaker defeated Goldberg by pinfall, 9 minutes 35. I think we're going to get 2.5 minutes where Goldberg is in a headlock. And he's going to be fading. They'll do the arm stuff. And then Goldberg is going to forget. And the ref's going to be like, no, he got his arm up. This is going to happen.
Is his son going to be involved?
Yeah, probably. I think they'll need it. I think there is a strong chance that Bret Hart will be involved. They already dragged Bret into the story. Like, if you remember a few months ago. Yeah. So a few months ago,
this goes back to the homework thing that you were talking about.
Yes, exactly. So Bret was in the ring with Gunther, and Gunther was, Bret, you're my second all-time favourite. And the fans are like, boo. It's like, second only after Bill Goldberg. And Gunther's face, he's just like, this is a great line. He's loving it. And then a few months later, they have Goldberg in the audience, and that's what this homework bit was, where Gunther's in the ring. He said, now I said you were my favourite wrestler, I was lying, or whatever. And so, I think there is a chance, though, that Goldberg will win. He'll win the title, they'll vacate the title, and then it'll be Gunther and Jay at SummerSlam. Because if you're gone,
we've got money in the bank as well.
Oh yeah, we touched on this last week. So Seth could. So will Seth cash in on Goldberg?
Or Goldberg, which one?
Because look, you're gone.
If Seth cashes in on Goldberg, then like
he's a face.
Crap storytelling dictates that then Goldberg gets a rematch, and I only want the one. Thank you very much. Keep Seth and Goldberg as far away from each other as you can.
Yeah. Well, there's even a potential story there because after Seth, I think, who was it? After Seth hurt Sting, Bret Hart was like, "This Seth Rollins," and didn't Seth actually like bust John Cena's nose where it twisted round?
That was
So then Bret Hart was like, "Screw Seth Rollins," and Seth was like, "I'm so hurt. I always looked up to Bret," and so there is a story there where Seth and Goldberg and Bret's on the outside, just like destroy each other, die like this. Oh, I don't know. I would put Bret Hart as the referee in Goldberg versus Gunther.
I don't know about that one.
I would say
giving Bret that spot after the eye roll at Mania. Bret's not coming.
That was great. Yeah, like, and Triple H after that, he must have just been like, "There is nothing I can do to apologise to this guy to make it up to this guy." Yeah, that was amazing. I'd forgotten that.
He stole WrestleMania.
Yeah. Okay, Dev, did you give away?
Yeah. So, like with the actual Goldberg and Gunther match, I think Alex Sun's going to get involved, and that's how they're going to shorten the match. They're going to have a Goldberg's son, Gage, will get involved, and that's how they're going to shorten the match and have a DQ / Dusty finish. Where he doesn't do the
title. A DQ in Goldberg's last match, surely.
Yeah. See, this is why I think Goldberg is winning. Look,
his
when
merch doesn't say Goldberg's last match; it says Goldberg's last ride.
True.
So it suggests that there is. I don't know whether he. I hope. I'm praying that he loses to Gunther, and then give him like you remember we had a match with Ziggler at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Like it was great because it was done. Like let him go out spearing some jobber. And ride off into the sunset after losing to Gunther. Please.
See, look, okay, so I don't know what I think this is like. Oh, red pill, blue pill. If you're choosing this or AEW, but there is the poster for it, and it's Atlanta, Georgia, which is his hometown, and so I think it has to be the last one. And they shouldn't think, oh well, you can do one more run because he limped into the ring. He literally limped into the ring.
I hope that he's saying that he struggled with his training coming back as well.
Oh yeah,
tear something.
Yeah.
He injured himself during training.
It's so weird with Goldberg because when he was first coming back, when he made his big return and beat Brock in a minute and a half. And everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing," kind of thing. He did say about what he had to do, and that he's doing a lot of kickboxing, and he's gonna, he's slightly lighter, but now he's more agile. And then it's like he only did one move, spear, and then jackhammer, and that was all he did against Kevin Owens, against the Fiend, against Ziggler, until he went against Lashley, who actually was like, "Okay, we'll do a match." And Lashley was big enough to be able to throw him around and also throw himself around to try to make Goldberg look half decent.
I just hope they're not going to try a jackhammer. Like, Gunther's bigger. Yeah. Like, there needs to be a conversation somewhere about not even trying a jackhammer.
I think Gunther could jackhammer himself.
I don't know if Gunther is bigger than Goldberg.
Do you know? I didn't think so.
I mean, just that he's a larger. He's got.
Okay, let's get that segment because Yeah, go on, Dave.
I was like, if it was old school Gunther when he was Walter, or a massive big guy, like proper giant guy, then that would be pretty insane because he's slimmed down so much.
Yeah.
He's still got a large frame though.
He's
like,
got
a unit.
Okay, so check this out. So in terms of larger, he may not be large in mass, but look, I was surprised that Gunther, like Goldberg, may have shrunk a little.
Yeah.
It's not impossible. But like
Yeah,
Gunther
it's all
looked
good
down
when
upon him.
you get older.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It's like Gunther need to do just one job. Please don't
Yeah,
go
brother.
I want it to be that Sami Zayn wins King of the Ring and goes on to do the better, like the final of the 3 matches that him and Gunther have had.
Yes.
And Sami and Gunther at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And then Sami.
And then Seth.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Did someone mention that last week's show? I think I'm getting.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah.
That's what I'm holding out for.
Will Sammy turn heel?
Yeah, I think he needs to at a certain point.
I think
Not against Gunther though.
Oh, not against Gunther.
No, not against.
No. But like, I think he has to turn heel soon.
As far as Seth goes, though, wasn't there a whisper in Cody's ear? So they're teasing something with Seth and Cody. So I don't know where that goes. Whether Seth ends up sort of diverting into the WWE title picture.
What do you think then? Cody and Seth team up.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, there's history. Look, obviously, if you go back in time to a year at WrestleMania, so obviously Cody and Seth.
Cody's first year was him. And Seth.
Yeah, but then like a year later, they're a team, and then then Seth turns on Cody for the fact that it's like, oh, now you're siding with Roman.
Yeah.
And everything's just become so complicated because now it's like, okay, but Seth, now you're with Paul Heyman, who was on the side of Roman, so your argument against Cody for siding with someone that was on the side of Roman doesn't work, except for maybe now it's because he's turned against. Who knows? It doesn't work. Like, it gets complicated at a certain point. Okay, good. Guys, any other major things that we need to take a look at, Dave?
Yes. 2 things. First of all, I need to apologise to Dev because I've just listened to the Joe Hendry entrance for Triple Mania, and it is not his voice. It is definitely the voice of somebody else. So I apologise to you. That's definitely.
That's fine.
Yeah, doing that. Secondly, I know we're talking about like long shows and things like that. Finally, the era of the 4-hour block of wrestling that AEW has been putting out the last 2 weeks is stopping tonight. So they're doing the show in Arena Mexico. But I've got to say though, I think those 4-hour blocks have moved along because there's so much more actual wrestling in there that I enjoy watching. Even a 4-hour block of AEW seems to be more palatable than a 3-hour SmackDown because of what we discussed.
Yes, Dexter Lumis.
Yes. I always try and see the best in a lot of the wrestlers, but as I said, I watched the highlights bit, the 3 minutes highlights, which the YouTube WWE had dared to say that the White Six destroy the Motor City Machine Guns. It was a 3-minute thing. I was like, I'm watching it going, okay, well, they're in control now. They're still in control. Okay, Lewis has missed something. Okay, that's fine. Gacy's in for a second. Take back to Lewis for some reason. Machine Gun's still in control again. They cheated a bit. Okay, he's won. He's standing there, not knowing what to do. Then
he destroyed him with his leg drop. That got the destroyed word. Yeah, he destroyed his face with his leg.
Yeah.
So you imagine that Rowan and Bo and Nikki just sitting there watching this, going, "What the fuck is this?"
Well, because Rowan's a great tag team guy. Like Rowan and Gacy is the team now, right?
Yeah. But that was as I said about AEW and their sort of like their stuff they've been putting out recently. I know that Dave, you weren't necessarily fond a little while ago when Ricochet was busting out scissors and all that sort of stuff. But what did you guys think of that angle with Okada and Omega and Callis, the contract signing that ended up with?
Oh, with Kenny.
On the stomach and then like 2 elbow drops and Kenny suddenly like spewing out blood from his mouth on the stretcher and that sort of thing. It was obviously fake, but it was quite shocking still at the time. It was like, oh god, like in terms of how they sold it.
I don't mind stuff like that because that's a play because having blood where it's just someone's attacked someone to the point that they're coughing up blood. I think that's a lot more smoke and mirrors that you can make work versus I've got a pair of scissors and it's like it's obviously meant to be 1, a stab wound, and 2, too easily emulated by any, you don't know, you can think like, oh, if I'm gonna elbow drop my dad when I jump off the settee. You know, you could be like, don't try this at home. But literally, like a 3-year-old could stab someone like in the throat and kill them. So I think that's a big difference, because also you could say, yeah, but a wrestler, when they elbow drop you, that will cause the internal injuries. And that way you can always believe, like, oh, well, that's what makes it real, is because they've got the extra power and stuff like this. But scissors, there's no two ways about it. It's like, it was like the same we've always said about like Triple H's sledgehammer. It's like the one man in the world that doesn't know how to use it, that he uses it the way he does. Go on, Dev.
Do you know why he does the protected one?
Because it would kill anyone.
No, he did it to someone like, I think it was Taker or McFoley or someone, where he concussed them by hitting them with the actual thing.
Literally the only time I ever remember Triple H swinging it was when Shawn Michaels returned. Do you remember this? Mm-hmm. Then he did like this, and they had the right camera angle, so Michaels just went like this. You don't know how much it missed by. And this was, what, like 2002? So back then, not everyone would have, like nowadays, people would have had phones and just been like, it missed. Like, do you remember when Uncle Howdy was first there? And he got thrown and just like completely missed when Bray Wyatt was still with us, and Uncle Howdy got thrown and he just landed in padding, Go on, Dave.
So I'm remembering. I think I'm right, Dave. I think that the thing you're talking about with Triple H using the sledgehammer and knocking somebody out and things like that. I think that's Mania 17 against Taker. Is that he's up in the last ride and then dumped down there, and then Taker came out bleeding or something.
Yeah.
I think that might have been it. But I think since that...
Yeah, after that,
ever since that point, they've had like a rubber... They had like a rubber head, didn't they? Because wasn't that famous one of him trying to get up, and he puts his weight down on the sledgehammer to get up, and you can see the hammer bending.
Okay, do you know... Okay, go on, Dev, go on.
There's an extra caveat to that. After the bleeding hole with the Undertaker, they started using the rubber one. Because that kept breaking, he then started using a real one, but using his hand to block the hit.
Okay. Guys, did you see from a couple of weeks ago when Logan Paul did the lion salt to the outside? Did you see the camera footage, like the fan cam footage of this? Okay, so this is amazing. Obviously, the last few months, WWE have had the new design of the announce tables. And just whilst Jay was laying on the table prone...
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You saw this. Okay, you see two guys run and duck under the table like this, and they come out, and then he does the lion salt. And clearly what they've done is that they've got new rigged tables, like announce tables, so that they won't collapse unless
supposed to.
Yes, they remove something. Now, I think they still need to take another look at this, because... they can get the camera angles right for this, but people can film this. I think they need to get the announcers involved. So just as Cole or McAfee or whoever, Corey, Booker, whoever sat at the table, they know someone's going through it. When they see the guys come over, they just need to reach their hand in, pull a lever or remove the block or something like this. But you think... The tables, like you'll see on the indies, where it's just the flat tables that you fold out legs, they smash and they crack in half. And then for years, WWE have had the announce tables which just collapse down and they don't actually break in any way. But these new design, clearly, they've rigged them in a certain way, so unless certain blocks are taken out, that they won't collapse. So it's just another innovation that they've got there, which is interesting to see that someone captured that moment. Go on, Dev. We're going to have to wrap up in just a couple of minutes, guys, but let's check if there's any other breaking stuff. Go on, Dev.
Two things I want to say. First of all, the new announce tables remind me of blackjack tables at casinos.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the second thing is, Carrie's saying is so unlucky now, because now she's 2 for 2. Yeah. For matches she's involved in where someone's being injured.
Yeah.
I've seen some pretty hideous takes online about Kyrie, like what she was doing while Liv was down. I don't know if anyone else has caught that.
What did she do? She was just doing nothing.
She ran the rope she taunted a little bit. What was she supposed to do?
Yeah,
she's entertaining the crowd, like
right.
You know?
And so I think Kairi's totally unlucky because she's just been in the ring whilst somebody else has done something with her.
She's doing what Owen had to do back in '97.
What, with Austin? Yeah,
Austin.
But to be honest, like famously, Owen didn't really know what to do, and he was just like, yeah, like this. He really didn't like know what to do, and he looked concerned. You know, it's always the thing. There's the balance with a wrestler's meant to be beating up their opponent so they can win, and when they really get hurt, they kind of, if they don't, you know, this is perhaps just something they need to work out at the performance center or whatever. What do you do in the instance where something goes wrong, and how do you cover it?
To be fair, like I think I don't think I would have changed anything that they did. They, like, Kairi did her thing to try and keep the crowd bubbling, because you never know, like, is Liv gonna suddenly be all right? Because sometimes these things can.
But she'd got that moment where she sat on the ropes, right? Do you remember?
Kairi?
Yeah. She just sort of like sat on the ropes, and she was just a little bit like, there's not much you can do, but she was a little bit running out of.
But to be fair to WWE, they cut to commercial.
Yeah,
well,
fair.
At least they did on my Netflix feed.
Yeah.
And they cut back and said, match is over, Liv's injured. Like, I think.
Because she's a face as well. Because like, if you're a heel, you can play up to it. And,
absolutely.
And then if it was a heel thing, where Kairi's the heel, and again, with the storytelling, Nikki Bella could have then come out, kind of thing, and then changed the story a little bit. But because it was Liv, she's the heel, you can't really, everything just had to change, so
yeah,
pretty much.
Also, we have to consider the fact that a lot of wrestling fans around the world are total assholes and don't have any decent opinion towards the people, and just decide to go have a go at someone for no reason.
Yeah.
You do also really want to have another situation in AEW about tables that I want to see another Sanjay Dutt situation happen with those tables.
What was this?
Just falls apart.
Do you know I think the worst unfortunate thing you've had like that, where like something breaks which isn't supposed to, was in TNA years and years ago, where they said Jeff Jarrett is not allowed to use the guitar, and so suddenly he brings out a cello, because technically it's not a guitar, and he picked it up like this, and the weight of a cello, because they'd gimmicked it, the weight of it, it just collapsed out, and you just see Jarrett's face. He just looks down like probably, I've been dreaming of this spot for 7 months, and now he just had to slam whoever through it, AJ or Abyss or whoever.
Even better than that, though, was like an entrance he made for, like, I think it was like a lockdown event, where he has like the guitar, and he's got like the guitar with the pyro in it as well, so he puts it up there, the pyro goes off, and the pyro shoots from the guitar, and as he did that, the guitar just fell apart.
Ouch.
Oh, amazing. Go on, there's one more thing I want to bring up.
With regards to that, Jeff Jarrett must be the unluckiest person, because back in WCW, that happened again. Him and someone else were fighting on a scaffolding near the entrance, and they were supposed to fall through the gimmick floor, right, to go through the padding. And while they're fighting, David Elke walks out and falls through the floor. And Jeff Jarrett's like, what the fuck?
Oh my god. Okay, guys, the last thing I want to bring up.
I don't really know what to do now.
Okay, the last thing I want to quickly bring up is, did you see this thing about there's some lawsuit where AEW and Jon Moxley are being sued? I saw the clip again, and it's that he steals a screwdriver off of someone stood at the side, but he shoves him down in the process. Apparently, this guy then needed to have neck surgery, back surgery, or something like spinal surgery. Now, that's crazy. If
Hulk Hogan, was it?
Wasn't Hulk Hogan? Yeah. Oh gosh.
From WrestleMania, Austin.
So yeah, like, what's the take on that? Again, just in terms of
Takes some money.
Elaborate.
He's exaggerating it because, like, AEW is a big company and they'll pay out.
I don't even necessarily think that my take is about the size of the company. My take is that wrestling, like, beyond the ever-thinning veneer of kayfabe, wrestling is a cooperation, and it's not just a cooperation between the wrestlers in the ring, the referee, the people in the back, and the TV production staff. And they all have to feel safe, and they all have to feel that they can trust each other.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, he says, that if there had been a conversation beforehand of, I want to get my heel heat, so I'm going to take the screwdriver and then I'm going to shove you, then I can see a way that they would have come to that arrangement. But if he was shoved, and he's not a trained professional, he's not, he's holding a heavy piece of equipment, I can quite easily see that could have happened. And it's against what wrestling should be underneath, which is a team.
I mean, did that guy fall to the ground and just think, I'm getting paid? Right? Is it that kind of moment?
Maybe.
Sorry.
You can still get paid and still think, hang on, what the hell was that? And I'm going, oh my god, I'm really. If he wasn't expecting the shove.
He was obviously because I hear there was the screwdriver spot, right? Because he took the screwdriver from him.
Yeah.
That must have been arranged for the cameraman to have the screwdriver. So he's obviously up for working with the wrestlers on something.
I'm a bit lost, sorry. Was he part of the ring crew, or was he...
The cameraman.
He's a
cameraman, isn't he?
I don't think if you see the clip, he's not holding a camera, but he's one of the guys that starts keeping the leads going. He's holding the leads and guiding the cameraman. I think that's what it is. But like I say, you can cooperate with the wrestling and be part of it. But if he wasn't expecting that shove, then your body's going to do things when it lands on impact, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see what the updates on that will be as time goes on. I can't see that there's any other late breaking news, so I think we'll begin to wrap things up here. But
we'll go off air for that to happen, David, as you know.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, we go off air and then some breaking news, as is the tradition. But let's find out where we can find everyone, and we'll begin. Gav, where can the people find you?
Easy. Next week, right here.
Boom. Dev, where can the people find you?
You can find me on TikTok and Twitch under the name F3DAT, and that's it.
Okay, Ian, where can the people find you?
If you'll have me back, you can find me right here.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Dave, who we're still debating, but okay, we think we'll have you back, Dave. Where can the people find you?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. The Greeno on Twitter and David Joe3 and everywhere else, and also my improv group LAPD Improv. Just announced our next show for 21st of August, so follow them for that.
Okay, fab. Now, guys, if you'll have me back, my name is David Pstansky. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
You, David, so
you were here before me. It was a bit of a shock. Okay, so yeah, David Pstansky. Find everything Slam Jam and Extreme Improv on all of the socials. Just look for the Slam Jam Wrestling Show, or look for Extreme Improv. And with that, until next time, stay safe, always stay extremed, and keep slamming and jamming.